All right, this is a video I wanted to get out real quick, so you have to bear with me with my dirty, unshaven face. But we're going to talk about the intention intervention gap. Now, if you want to pause this video right after I say this next sentence, consider like, do you know what the intention intervention gap is? Okay, if you do, wonderful. I would stay tuned and consider what I'm going to say next. If you don't, also pay attention. So, the intention intervention gap in one sentence is the gap between what it is that you said you were going to do and the actual actions you took. So I'll say it differently, the gap between what you said you were going to do and what you actually did. Okay. Now, I don't want to go down this whole blame game with this video. I want to like articulate some thoughts about perhaps why we don't always do what we say we were going to do, and why oftentimes it's not necessarily our fault. So bear with me. So I'm going to give you an example of let's say fitness. Okay, so I want to lose a bunch of weight. I want to get in the best shape of my life, and I want to just look and feel amazing. Okay, so I go to a local trainer and say, hey, will you coach me and help me to do that? The trainer says, yes, no problem. And the trainer says, cool, you got about 25 pounds to drop, give or take 12 kilograms. And he says, here's what we're going to do. He says, we're going to train 3, 4 times a week in the gym. You're going to get 12,000 steps every single day. You're going to get 200 grams of protein every single day. You're going to eat 2,113 calories every single day. You're going to sleep 7 to 9 hours a night every single night. You're going to drink 4 to 6 liters of water every single day. Yada, 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 yada. Okay. So I just listed off a bunch of things there. Now, here's the challenge with what I just said. The challenge with what I just said is it's possibly tremendously difficult. Now, but let's analyze it. What the trainer didn't do, the trainer didn't take the time to actually understand what my starting point was first and foremost. So yes, I may have 25 pounds to lose. However, I may also be very well trained. I may be someone who's already in the gym 4 or 5 days a week. I may already be someone who's getting that many steps a day. May be someone who's getting more or less that sleep, etc. Or at least on track for some of those things. Perhaps I am. The opposite is also very possible. Perhaps I'm not trained. Perhaps I'm very inactive and sedentary. Perhaps I've never tracked a macro or calorie in my life. Perhaps I've never slept more than 6 hours in my life. Yada 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 yada. Okay. Perhaps I haven't drank more than a liter of water a day in my entire life, etc. So the problem is the trainer never understood my starting point. If the trainer can't understand or doesn't know my starting point, it's going to be quite difficult for him or her to help me to get to where I want to be. Okay. Now that's keep that in mind. The next piece is with regard to the intention intervention gap. Let's say the trainer says, do those 5 things, whatever I listed off. Okay. And I start going about them. The chances are very, if I'm untrained, even if I'm not untrained, the chances are very difficult that I actually hit all those 5 things 100% of the time every single day this week. Okay. So let's address one thing for a moment. Let's say he tells me, hey, what I want you to do is get nothing else. The only more focus is to get 12,000 steps every day for the next 7 days. That's his only thing he says to me to do. Okay. And I say, no problem. Then we fast forward 7 days later and I say, hey, I did it. And he says, cool. And you did it every single day. And I says, yeah, sort of. And he says, well, what do you mean? Well, I actually did 5 days a week. I didn't really hit it Saturday and Sunday. Well, but it's not so bad, right? Okay. Now, most people will think, yeah, okay, well, you progressed, perhaps. Now, what if we did this? 5 divided by 7 is 71%. So what it really means is I didn't hit my target in and around 29% of the entire week. Okay. In and around 29% of the entire week, I did not hit my target. Okay. Now I want you to extrapolate that over the course of a year. 365 multiplied by 29%. Where's my percentage symbol? Is 100. It's 100 plus days that I wasn't able to do one thing over the course of a year. That's a lot of the year. It's half the third year, right? Now, most people will think it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal because if I can't do one thing right, right is the wrong term. If I have a very difficult time adhering 100% to one thing, most people will then go about adding more things. So he says, hey, hit the water, right? Or hit the steps, I should say. Now he's going to say hit the water. Now he's going to say hit the protein. Now he's going to say hit the calories. Now he's going to say hit the gym all these days, etc. And what he's going to do is add things to my plate. However, system reliability, if you're familiar with this, is a multiplicative thing. Most people think this. Okay, well, I hit the steps 29% or 70% of the week. I hit the gym 70% of the week. I hit the calories 70% of the week. I hit the protein 70% of the week, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Most people think, all right, well, add all those things together and I'm getting better. Perhaps. The distinction is, if you actually look at this, by the way, this is a multiplicative equation. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my four eyes on here for a second because I'm going to look at my screen and I'm going to pull up a spreadsheet. So just bear with me one moment. In fact, I'm going to pause the recording while I get it. Alrighty, I'm back. Let me share the screen and show you what I am talking about. So this is a spreadsheet, of course. Now, obviously this is blacked out because I just put everything together just a moment ago. So back with the original equation, let's say 5 of the 7 days, I'm able to hit thing number 1. So I'm 71% successful that week on thing number 1. Okay. So thing number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, the trainer says, hey, add in this second thing, get your protein target. Okay, no problem. And now most people think it's additive. So I'm now, let's say I'm 71% successful with hitting the second thing. Okay, no problem. I'm getting better. However, let's look at it this way. So I will unblacken these things if it will allow me. Boom. So here's what I did. It's multiplicative. Most people think it's 71% plus 71%. It's not. System reliability means 71% on one thing, multiply that by 71% on the other thing, and the outcome is I'm now 50% successful overall. So my success rate goes down. Okay, or my completion rate goes down. Now, what do you think is going to happen when he says to me, hey, hit a calorie target? Let's have a look. Oh, I'm 35%. So now I'm getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Let's say he adds in a fourth thing. Let's get you to the gym 4 days a week. Oh, 25%. Let's say he adds in a fifth thing, get 7 to 9 hours sleep a day. Oh, 18%. Now, these numbers are not, 100% accurate, obviously, because I'm making them up. But the point being, I just want to show you that system reliability is a multiplicative equation. What that means is when you add things into your life to make change, it's not additive. It's not 1 plus 1 equals 2 equals 3 equals 4. It's the success rate of the first thing multiplied by the success rate of the second thing, by the third thing, by the fourth thing, by the fifth thing. And when you multiply those success rates, your performance goes down. Does that make sense? So I'll unshare my screen just real quick. That's system reliability. So we started off this video talking about the intention intervention gap. So the gap between what you said you were going to do and what you actually ended up doing. Okay. And a big issue is most people, when they set out to do something, it's here's all the things I must do, rather than focusing on just one thing. And let's get that one thing, for example, the 12,000 steps, let's get that to as close to 100% successful as possible. Once I get there, then and only then should I be adding the second thing. Let's get that as close to 100% as possible. Then and only then, and so on and so on and so on and so on and so on. Does that make sense? And what ends up happening is my success rate over time goes up. The intention intervention gap gets narrower, meaning I'm tighter, meaning I'm getting closer to what I want, because let me rephrase that. The actions I'm taking on a daily basis, I'm doing them successfully more often. So the gap from where I want to be and where I want to be is getting narrower. But when we just add more things, because of the multiplicative effect, the gap normally gets wider. And so most coaching programs, not just fitness, business, most coaching programs, the coach will tell you, here's all the things you must do. Here's all the things I want you to add. Here's all the things I want you to change. And there's several challenges here. The first challenge, of course, is they rarely know your starting point. They sort of know your end point, but if they don't know your starting point, they can't get you there. Right? It's gonna be very, very difficult. It's just like if I want to go to Lisbon Airport tomorrow, okay, I go to Google Maps, take me to the airport. But if Google Maps doesn't know where my house is, how is it going to get me there? The opposite also being true. If the Uber picks me up at my house and I don't tell it where I want to go, how is it going to get me there? Most coaches don't know because they never ask, they don't understand. And so what ends up happening is they add all these things for you to do, for you to change, for you to implement, and we wonder why we end up getting worse. We feel like we're doing more. We're certainly busier. We're certainly more active, but we're not getting any closer to what we want. And so the intention intervention gap The whole point in my eyes at least, is how do I put things in place so that I can close the gap from where I am to where I want to be. Makes sense. Hopefully it's useful. So the intervention gap, you have system reliability, and of course, more content we'll talk about soon in some of the trainings is getting closer to what you want over always chasing more.